Ever glance at that bottle of wine you've been saving? Or, that old video game console maybe?
Hmm.
Well, believe it or not, they can be more than just, like, hobbies.
Right.
They might actually be your way into this surprisingly big world of alternative investments.
Moving beyond the usual suspects.
Yeah, exactly. Beyond stocks and crypto. It feels like maybe regular folks like us could get a piece of those, wealth-building things that used to feel kind of hidden.
That's it, exactly. There's a real buzz around these tangible assets, things you can actually, well, hold.
Mm-hmm.
And our deep dive today is based on this really interesting article digging into this whole trend.
Okay.
Our mission basically is just to pull out the most important bits, understand why, everyday items are suddenly becoming serious investment possibilities.
All right, let's jump in. Wine first. I was genuinely surprised to read that the LivX Fine Wine Index.
Yeah, the benchmark for fine wine prices.
Right. It's actually outperformed the S&P 500.
Right.
I mean, who knew your cellar could potentially beat Wall Street?
It's pretty amazing. And the why is fascinating. Fine wine is, well, it's finite.
Limited resource.
Exactly. It matures, it gets rarer over time, and that's what pushes the value up. Plus, it's a physical thing.
Right. Tangible. Not like digital currency or some tech stock that can crash.
Precisely. It offers a different sort of security, you could say.
And it's not just wine, is it? The article mentions whiskey, too,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
with these examples of, like, limited edition Scotch or Japanese whiskey just skyrocketing.
Mm-hmm. You see bottles going from maybe a couple $100s to, well, thousands in just a few years sometimes.
Wow. That's a return that really makes you stop and think.
It does.
Yeah.
And if you connect the dots, you see this broader interest in unique collectible items.
Okay.
The whole idea of liquid gold sums it up nicely. You've got something you could enjoy, but also something with serious financial potential.
But I mean, it gets even more interesting with collectibles, right? The article talks about vintage video games,
Still sealed in the box, yeah.
rare comics. And get this, a single Charizard Pokémon card sold for over $500,000.
Crazy, isn't it? Suddenly those things from your childhood look potentially very different.
Totally. And it's not just cards, right? Like sealed old video games from the 80s, 90s.
Mm-hmm.
They're also seeing huge price jumps.
Driven by nostalgia, rarity, all that stuff.
So what's really fueling this? Why this boom now?
Well, the article points to a few factors. People seem to be looking beyond traditional investments. Maybe they feel they're too risky or growth is too slow.
Makes sense.
And they're drawn to these tangible things, assets that are scarce, often linked to passions. They feel more, I don't know, real, easier to grasp.
Yeah, understandable.
Plus, there's this history, right? The sort of global elite have invested in art, wine, collectibles for ages. Now it feels like that trend is becoming, well, more accessible.
Like it's opening up. Democratizing, almost.
Something like that. And speaking of access, the piece mentions these platforms now.
Oh, right. Fractional ownership.
Exactly. Where you can buy a share of, say, a really expensive bottle of wine or a rare comic book.
So you don't need, like, tens of thousands up front. You could own a piece for maybe $100.
That's the idea. And it's a huge deal for opening these markets up to way more people.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
But, and this is crucial, the article really stresses the need for niche knowledge.
Ah, okay. So you can't just jump in blind.
Definitely not. You really need to understand the specific market, whether it's art or cards or whiskey or whatever.
Why is that so important?
Because you need to know what's hot, what's genuinely rare, and what actually has the potential to, boom in value later.
Like with that Charizard card example.
Right. It's about knowing the print runs, the condition, the grading, the enduring nostalgia factor. All those details matter.
Got it. So it's not just about having the item. It's about understanding why it's valuable.
Precisely. Knowledge is power here.
So boiling it all down, what's the big picture, the main takeaway?
I think it's that the whole landscape of investing might be shifting, or at least expanding.
Beyond just stocks and bonds.
Yeah, into these tangible assets, things driven by scarcity, but also by, genuine passion and interest.
Interesting. So the final thought for you listening might be,
could your own hobbies, your own passions, actually hold some unexpected investment value?
maybe it's time to look beyond the spreadsheets and ticker symbols for a bit.
Exactly. See the potential in the things you already know and maybe even love.